Live.
Hey, we're live with our weird new camera look that we're trying out. It's actually pretty cool. I think you'll like it. Hey, it's John Benson. I'm here with you, Pat Cohen, for day three of the inbox branding hangathon. So here we are. We're back. We're
We
gonna give
are.
you guys. Go ahead.
So
Go
so
ahead.
actually, let me tell you something, John. So this cool look that you have is only going to be available. You're not gonna like it. It's not gonna be on the Hangout. It's going to be on the Facebook. And the
Not a
reason,
surprise. Not the least bit surprised that Google can't do this. I'm not surprised. Okay, that's cool. That's totally coul. We can go just with that. So
so
yeah,
we can be awesome on Facebook with like all the facing
yeah,
buzzes
yeah,
and
yeah.
whistles, and then we can be normal on the page on the Hangout.
No worries, no worries. So everybody say hello. Let's get started here. We're about a minute away from the actual kickoff time. So let's get started by saying hey. Let us know where you're calling from. We're talking about promotional emails today, so it's going to be pretty cool. If you sell anything with email, that is, or if you want to sell something by email, it's going to be very cool. So let's hear from you. And we have a really cool ethical bribe to get you to actually come on. That you have to come on the Hangout to get it, though. If I could tell you about that here when we start the official 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah. So and actually, guys, we are. Let me see. Where is it? There we go. Here we are. So welcome. If you're watching us on Facebook, you want to come to live.emailcopypro.com/live because today we are talking about selling stuff, promoting stuff. And if anyone is allergic to money, don't come. But if you want to make money, today is the training for you. And in order to actually get you to participate and make sure that you take action, because this is not a webinar, this is 100% hands-on workshop when you can come in and really get advice from one of the top copywriters in the world, right, John?
So they say, yeah.
So they say in the
So they
world.
say.
So
Yeah.
you can get specific advice about your business if you're stuck with anything about like, oh my God, I was trying to sell this to my list and I was doing this and it didn't work. Now you can figure out why. So let me just show you where things are on the website because we have a really, really nice handout for you to follow along, and that is under the worksheet. So I'm going to share my screen for a second and show you. So when you click on worksheets right here, this opens up and you can see that you have all the worksheets for all the days in one place. So today we're talking about promotion, and you have all these three that John is going to break down for you and how to do this and everything that goes into that. So this is where you find it, and I'm also going to put that in the comments just if you want to stay on the same page. So let us know where you're hanging out from, where you're joining us. This is the Hangout, and we're going to open it up 30 minutes after. I think it's 30 minutes, right, John? Like about 30 minutes into the call.
Yeah, 30, 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys can come in, and those who come in will win this beautiful video from Jay Abraham about how to sell everything, anything or everything.
Anything and everything, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Jay and I did he would spoke at my mastermind when I lived in Malibu. So he came out to my home in Malibu and spoke at my mastermind, and it's an hour and 10 minutes of pure gold marketing stuff. So we're going to give it to you. We sell it for $500. So we're giving it to you just for coming on and hanging out with us. So not a big price to pay to have you come on and ask us questions. So yeah, it's kind of fun. So
It'll be
ethical bribe.
awesome. Yeah, it'll be awesome. So if you guys have any promotion questions, first let us know where you're hanging out from, where you're joining us from, and then what are you stuck with, right? Like, did you get stuck with anything when you were trying to promote anything? And then we have people from all over the world John joining us. I don't know what time it is in Israel now. I think it's in the middle of the night. What time is it over there, Helen? Let us know. So that's it. So you'll join us. We'll have fun. We'll go through the training and we'll answer your questions. And anyone who joins us in the Hangout as we get there will win this never before seen video. And we'll try to end on time, right?
People have bought it. People have seen it before. It's been a bonus with my products, but only if you have it, you have one of my high end products. So they've seen it, but we've never given it away before. So
There you go. You
All
have
right.
to be here to get it, guys.
Yes, you
and
do.
getting, dude, we are covering the globe. We got Mexico, we got Canada, we got Israel, we got the US. We're missing Australia. Someone in Australia, wake up.
Somebody come in, please hurry. Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so let's dive in. You'll see how are we going to do that, John? Because we were actually planning on using this first.
Yeah. We're gonna do something kind of cool for you guys. We're gonna test this new go ahead. I just lost it, but anyway. So I'll just have to open up Keynote. So
yeah. So when they're watching you, so those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you're going to see the awesome look. And those who are watching us on Hangout are going to see all the slides, full page. And tomorrow, when you're watching Facebook, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. And we'll figure out a way to put it on YouTube.
Love Google so much. Okay, all right, great. So I'm going to share my screen so we can get started, guys.
Yes.
So we are going to get started here. And I'm going to let Yafat tell me that she can see my screen. And can you see that?
I can.
Okay.
And you know what?
Cool.
This is not going to work. Okay, there we go. Yes.
All right. Are we good?
I think we are good.
Okay. I can't tell. Can you see my camera, or can you just see the screen?
No, I can see the slides on the full slide. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So today we're going to go into. By the way, I'm getting an echo on my side. So
yep. Let me mute it.
There.
Yeah.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about the P inside EPIC email. So EPIC is an acronym. It stands for Engage, Promote, Inspire, and Consume, the 4 types of emails that you want to be sending out in order to maximize your inbox brand and to make more sales and engagement, which is something we all want. Today is the P, the Promote, which, in other words, do you want to sell something using email? If you do, you're in the right place. So again, we're going to remind you of this. At the end of day 5, and this is day 3, we're going to give 5 winners a copy of Email Copy Pro, membership inside. This is our gold level. It's not our platinum level. It's our gold level, but you're going to get the gold level membership. It's worth over $1,000. So how do you get it? Well, we've told you guys before, but we're going to tell you quickly again how you get it. You get it by playing, right, Yafat?
Yes. I need to unmute myself. So just before you go on, let me just tell you that Sharon here is from Outback, Australia. So we are covering the entire globe right now.
Awesome. Congratulations.
And yes.
Okay.
Go.
So you just log into your, be sure to register, log in. You're going to see the instructions on how to play, how to win. Whoever's got the most points wins. It's that simple. So you get points by sharing, commenting, by inviting people onto the Hangathon. There's lots of different ways to get points. So, excuse me. And I am struggling with a little bit of what seems like a cold, so you guys will have to forgive my voice if it goes out. Welcome to day 3, part 2, promotion. Okay, I'm going to tell you the secret right here to winning emails. And it's a trademark term that we have called persuasion triggers. Now, I'm going to go into the 4 mental components that basically put your brain into a buying mode, and the words and phrases we're going to show you in actual emails that create responses. And persuasion triggers are very powerful. They're words and phrases that literally unlock your prospect's buying brain. Pretty powerful stuff. Okay, so there are 4 states of what I call the buying brain. And before I go any further, buying means buying into anything. It can be buying into your service or product. It can be buying into what you're saying. It can be buying into simply spreading you around virally. Anything you want someone to do. It's basically the 4 states of persuasion, but I like the term buying brain because that's literally where your brain needs to be in order to buy anything, whether it's information or a product or service, doesn't matter. Okay, here are the 4 states that human beings are in. You need to address their wants, their needs, and there's a big difference. We're going to talk about the difference there. Their fears, and then you need to give specific actions. Now, we talked a little bit about actions yesterday. They're called micro commitments, but we're going to talk about how to actually use that inside of an email. It's so simple to do. Literally, it will take you 1 minute to learn this. And it's just something that I see some marketers bypass, and they're missing out on a lot because the brain wants resolution. We're going to talk about why that happens and why that's psychologically true here in today's presentation. So those are the 4 states of the buying brain. You're in one of those 4 states, or, and this is the big giveaway here, all 4 at the same time. If you're buying something, a well-written sales letter, like what I get paid a lot of money to do, to write high-end sales letters and high-end email campaigns. What we focus on is every single email and every single sales letter, for sure, because it's much longer copy, has a want, a need, a fear, and an action within that email, every promotional email. So not every single email that we send out, because that you don't need it, but we're going to show you how powerful this is, okay? Let's talk about wants first. The question you want to be asking, that your user is asking, your prospect is asking, is what do I want? That's pretty simple, right? Now, I want you to ask this along with me so you can get the feel of this. What do you want in relation to, say, email marketing, to relation to whatever you're interested in? Let's say you're interested in martial arts. What do you want? So what are your wants in relationships to that? Now, your wants, as you're about to see, are going to be completely different than your needs. But as a marketer, you want to address this question to your user. You want to answer the what do I want question. Then it gets really interesting. Who else wants this that I look up to? Okay? Because that is a form of a want. So if you say inside your email, Tony Robbins once said blah, 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 and Tony Robbins is very successful at marketing, okay? You want to be successful at marketing, and you look up to, let's say that you look up to Tony Robbins. So your user is asking their question when they're reading your email is like, how does this relate to the people that I look up to in my life? So in other words, this is role modeling. This is essentially what role modeling is. It's based around the want. Now, who else in my life wants me to have it? Let's say that you want to lose weight. You're writing rather to someone that wants to lose weight, and you're writing an email and you're selling a product that's a weight loss product. You got to think who else in their life wants them to lose weight as well. So their kids, their grandkids, their spouse. This is an important part of wanting something. It's not just what you want. But I see we've already leveraged 3 different ways of wanting something. You want to lose weight. Who else wants to lose weight? Well, this so-and-so lost 150 pounds. Okay, so it doesn't even have to be anyone they know. You could send a picture out that says, Sally lost over 100 pounds using this diet. And you immediately look up to Sally. You don't even know Sally, but you respect her if that's what you want. Okay? And it's really amazing because Sally's husband is now feeling more in love with her than he has in 20 years. Well, what am I doing there? I covered all 3 of those wants in 2 sentences. Weight loss is obvious. Sally is what the person's looking up to. And I mentioned that Sally's husband is more in love with her than he's felt in 20 years. Now, I'm giving an actual real story of an email that I didn't write, but somebody else wrote it. But the point is those cover those areas of wants. Now, I'm going to show you an email, and I'm showing you the back end of an email. This is a PS, okay? It's a PS inside of one of our own emails promoting Email Copy Pro. So what's really interesting here is, well, number one, I hope that you paid attention yesterday to what I said about PSs and how important it is to put a PS in an email and how a PS virtually guarantees it will be read. I've written emails before that were pretty much all, when I say small talk, I'm not referring to literal small talk like how's the weather or whatever, but just literally content that wasn't so serious. Then I'll put PS and this real serious stuff down there. Because I know that people skim the email and they'll read the PS. Just test it for yourself. They do this. So I want you to look at some of the stuff that I'm going to underline here. How does Email Copy Pro work so fast to help you build your buyers list? Okay? Well, that's what I know you want. I know you want to build your buyers list, but there's a secondary want in there. And now we're going to get into some really clever persuasion triggers. Work so fast. So fast is a want that you have in virtually everything. Okay, I'm going to go down a list of things and tell me if you want it faster. Make money, more romance, lose weight, get your kids to clean their room. I can go on and on and on. And I will guarantee you most of those things that you really want, you want to happen faster. You just want them to happen faster. So when I say work so fast, how does it work so fast? That's exactly what you want to do as an, you want something that works fast. That's why you hear those 2 words together all the time in television ads. But I'm saying work fast to help you build your buyers list, okay? That is a want. It's pretty simple there, right? A pretty simple want there. But now, look how I tie in that other people look up to part, right? This is a rule that I follow religiously. Now, if you're on my list, I can pretty much assume if you're reading my email that in some way you look up to me, whether it's a marketer or whether it's as an email copywriter, whatever it may be, that you wouldn't be following me if you didn't. So when I say this is a rule that I follow religiously, you're going to go, well, I respect John. So if he's doing it, well, what did I just do? I tapped into that want, that area of that persuasion trigger. That's all that this is a rule I follow religiously. Now, you would probably not read this email and spot what I underlined as, oh, that's the want persuasion triggers. Well, the good thing is if you have Email Copy Pro, which we're going to talk to you about here in the next couple of days, you don't have to think about any of this stuff because this is already written for you. Literally. Even the stuff that you have to fill in, it's already written with persuasion triggers in mind. In this case, it's in the want area. If you think of persuasion triggers in 4 areas, think of a box, okay? And think of a box divided into 4 parts. This is in the want quadrant, okay? The quadrant called wants, okay? And this is how we think of things, or I think of things as a copywriter, and I'm training other copywriters to do the same thing. So as a fellow marketer, this is a rule I follow. That's also got what's called rapport in it. Now, we're not talking about rapport right now, but that does have rapport. As a fellow marketer, what did I just call you? I called you a fellow marketer. So I am doing something very under the radar here. I am saying, as a fellow marketer, I'm saying as someone who's a lot like me. And a lot of marketers who follow me want to be like me because they look at me in one way or the other. Like, I want to be more successful. I want to make more. I want to earn a living online. Let's just take it that, I'm going to say it, be like me, like I'm some massive role model, but I am a role model in that regard. They want to be a better copywriter, whatever. So as I say, as a fellow marketer, I'm putting them into an inclusion state. So that one sentence there has all that stuff in it. Now, can you imagine having to figure out all this stuff on your own? Well, unless you're a well-trained copywriter, this is not a science you probably want to dive into, which is why I created Email Copy Pro to begin with. So that is the want quadrant. Let's get into the needs, because most people confuse the two, and there is a massive difference, distinctly different, as a matter of fact. I'm going to give you an analogy using intimacy, okay? And I love this analogy. If your wife comes up to you and says, honey, I want to go to Hawaii. Now, she wants to go to Hawaii. So let's say she likes Hawaii and she wants to go to Hawaii. But underneath that is a need. She does not need to go to Hawaii. And if you press enough, you might hear her say, honey, I need alone time with you. Do you hear the difference? She doesn't want alone time. She needs alone time. So there are wants and needs in all sorts of relationship dynamics. What I want and what I need are two different things. They are literally two different things. So once you get this in your mind, there is a massive difference between what your prospect wants. I want to write emails faster. I want to be more, but what they need is a totally different thing. Now, I can make the argument that you need to write better emails in order to sell more, et cetera, et cetera. But why do you want to do that? So the needs are really the whys. It's the why underneath the want. So think of like whatever you think that your prospect wants, write down. This is what you should be doing. Take a list, get a sheet of paper out, write down, what does my prospect want? Well, let's say that you're in weight loss. I use fitness a lot because I'm in fitness. They want to lose weight. They want to gain muscle. But what do they need? Okay? They need to feel alive again. They need to feel young and vibrant. They need to be healthy. They need to feel, etc. Most of the time when somebody has a need, it's almost always attached to a strong feeling. So now we're right back into what we talked about day one. We're talking about the differences between, remember, being unpredictably reliable, okay? The emotional contact that you have with that is building that big time inbox brand. So needs are the why underneath the want. Okay, now this is a little small.
Pause. Pause for a second. This is deep. It's very deep and it's very confusing, I'm sure, for anyone who's not an experienced copywriter. So first of all, guys, why don't you put down in the comments right now, what do you think your wants and needs of your customers are? And I'm saying this, John, because when you were sharing the first example of wants, as a non-trained normal human being, I would not have picked up as at my fellow marketer as a persuasion trigger.
Right. Of course you wouldn't. No, I mean, and I'm not asking any of you. Here's what I'm not asking you guys. If you guys don't want to become Email Copy Pro customers, I wish you the best. I don't have any hard feelings against you, but you're going to have to figure this stuff out on your own. Or you're going to have to just write second best emails. Okay. Because every persuasive email ever written is loaded with persuasion triggers. Now, I coined the term persuasion triggers as my own phrase for this thing. There are different people say it in different ways. Now, I've coined these. This is all my own stuff. My teaching, what I've written about for years, and what I write all my copy around. So these are my like distinctions. So I wouldn't expect you to go, oh, that's a persuasion trigger, because unless you didn't know about it until today, right? But on the other hand, you wouldn't know, even if I told you what a persuasion trigger was, and I told you that your customer has a want and a need, you wouldn't spot that whole rapport thing that I just spotted, that I just told you about in the last email, unless I pointed it out. Again, unless you're a very good copywriter. So I'm not asking you to be a very good copywriter. It's great if you want to be a better copywriter. What I'm wanting to do is give you a tool that does the copywriting for you, that does the heavy lifting for you, because my team and some of the best copywriters in the world have already written this stuff. There's no reason for you to have to rewrite everything on your own. So I'm just showing you, I'm decoding it for you. Think of this as like the Matrix. This is like the code underneath the Matrix. I'm showing you, as I've said before in webinars, I'm showing you the hot blonde in the red dress. But here I'm showing you the code. I'm showing you the little code. What comes out is the hot blonde in the red dress. Okay.
Right. And the reason why I'm saying that this is a little confusing is because we're getting comments already, and Headway is saying customer want and need the human touch. So this sounds like, the wants and the needs are the same, but you're saying there is something deeper than that. So I think maybe there's a no.
Yeah. No, occasionally a want and a need can be the same thing. Like Wade says, the human touch. But when they wake up in the morning, your customer is saying, I want the human touch. They're probably not thinking that's what they want. I'm asking you to dig a little bit more shallow in this case. What do they think they want? Remember, sell them what they want, give them what they need. This is an old adage. And the reason why that adage exists is because there is a difference between wants and needs. Yeah. Okay? They need the human touch. They might want a faster way to get to work. They might want a better way to train their dog. They might want their kid to start cleaning up his room. But they need is something different. Okay? Right. Yeah. Now, they can't be the same, but it's rare. If you come on the chat tonight live, I'll tell you exactly what the wants and needs are. But I'd have to hear more about your business.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to show you this inside of an email. Okay? So I'm going to underline some words here. All the way down here. Now, I could underline every single sentence in this email. I could dissect an entire email, literally spend hours on it. I don't want to do that. I know there are copywriters out there that would love to hear this stuff. Okay, but I want you to look at this. If you or someone you love is suffering from lousy sales, now you might think, okay, wait, what does that have to do with a need? I purposely picked the most obscure one in this email because I can go down here and point out other needs that you have, that we know the primary cause of online marketing woes. Well, you kind of need to know what that is, but there's something much deeper there. If you or someone you love, I tapped into the deepest need that human beings have, period. And that is the need to love and be loved. Now, I'm going to get all deep on you here, aren't I? This would have just glossed right. You would have read this and it would have been, okay, wow. You don't know why you would have reacted to click that link. You don't know why you would be so much more connected to this marketing message, but you will be. Now, I'm dissecting it, so now I'm pulling, and I'm the magician showing his tricks, right? So this is not a trick to, by the way, I want to make sure when I say trick, tip, tactic, I'm not talking about something to trick somebody, to be duplicitous. That not at all. Okay, I am talking about how to communicate to a human being in the most effective way possible. So I use the terms that I know are the deepest: love, trust, freedom. You'll hear those words throughout a lot of my copy. You'll see them all the time. You have the freedom to go do what you want. Well, freedom is something you need. It's not something you want. I mean, people literally die without freedom. You put people in solitary confinement, they die. That's considered torture. To be in solitary confinement is considered torture. So that's obviously not a want, that's a need. So whenever there's strong feelings attached to something, remember what I said about feelings? That's how you know if something is a need. So I forget who it was, but it said the human touch. Well, touch is a need. Touch is most certainly a need. But when I would ask you to dig more shallow, because there's a want, what's the superficial want? That's what you need to tap on, the want. Because if you don't talk to somebody about what they want, okay, like for example, if I just said, look, you need to do something in your life where people love you and you feel loved and you feel freedom and you feel this. That's why you should buy my email marketing course. That's not going to work. Even though I covered all the needs, the deepest stuff, I haven't talked about what they want. Look, I want to help you get 300% more sales from every email you send out. I want to help you make more money this month than you made all of last year. Wow. Okay. That's awesome. And in the process, you're going to, so you see how this is going? In the process, you're going to learn to love the freedom that this will give you. You're going to see how much your loved ones are going to just totally fall in love with you all over again. I'm being exaggeratory on purpose, right? But you see how this might work inside of a copywriter's mind. So I just told you what you want, but I'm pulling in all the needs: love, freedom, faith. I can go down the line of the human needs, okay? The core values, right? So that is one way of doing it. I'm just giving you the coolest way to do it. So another way of doing this is like this, very similar to the analogy I gave you earlier. I want to go to Hawaii. I need to spend alone time with my lover. Okay, so think of it that way. My customer wants to do blank. Okay, I'm going to take something really stale. I'm going to take something I know nothing about. Plants. I looked around my condo. Plants. There's a plant over here. I want my plants to stay healthy. Okay, I have no internal need for plants to stay healthy at all. You care less, right? So I'm taking this on purpose because what would be the need underneath wanting my plants to be healthy?
Maybe. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm asking you guys. So yeah. What is the need? What do you think?
So why would I want my plants to stay healthy? Because I want, when people come to my house, I want them to think that I am someone who can, take care of something or grow it, or even more shallow than that. I just like what they look like, and I don't want to replace them every week.
Ooh, okay. Well, let's get back. Both of those are great. Let's go to the first one. You have a need to be validated.
Yes.
You have a need to set somebody at ease. You have a need for people to feel welcome. Okay. That goes beyond a want. Do you see how that's like a deeper thing? But also, what did you say? Hey, I just want them to look for, no. You have a need for beauty. Mm-hmm. So this is really interesting because I was a philosophy major. So I know there's the Platonian ethics: truth, beauty, justice. Beauty is an actual ethic that rides very deep within a lot of philosophical thought. For me, it's one of my core values. Beauty is one of my core values. Beauty in everything, in words, in physical appearance. It's true. I mean, I take care of myself and I enjoy attractive people. But I like beauty in art, in music, in painting. Where I live, I mean, I'm surrounded by the ocean right now because beauty moves my soul in every form. So I know that about myself. So I want to when I release a product, the hardest thing for me as a copywriter, believe you me, is to produce an ugly sales page. It was very difficult for me, a guy that really loves physical beauty, that likes to design stuff, that was a professional designer, for crying out loud, to produce these really ugly sales pages. But they work. So I have to go with what works, right? Yeah. But one of the needs I have for the plants would be that, yes, I have a need for beauty, and plants are beautiful. So now, do you see how if you didn't touch on both of those, you're going to miss out on a little bit of power and a little bit of authority and definitely a lot of inbox branding. Because if you start talking on this kind of level, people are going to go, man, this person is coming from a totally different perspective. Now, if you just went off on like, hey, I want to help you take care of your plants because you need beauty, you need this, it would be too much.
Right, because people don't like to be told what they like, right? They like to resonate with someone rather than be like, hey, you like this now. Yeah.
And I'm smiling so big because I just love it. Yafat has no idea. She does not know what I'm talking about. We did not go over the training ahead of time. She doesn't know this, so she's bang right on. Okay, you cannot tell someone what they need. You can tell them what they want, and this is another huge distinction. Okay. So that's why I said, if you or someone you love is suffering, now that would have just flown right past you. Now, you don't always have to phrase it like in a open-ended question like that. Is sort of like a question. So if I say, listen, if freedom and independence is as important to you as it is to me, then you want to take action on this email. Doesn't that feel good?
Dude, it's you know what's cool about that? It kind of puts you and I in the same category, us and them kind of thing, right? We care about these things.
Exactly, I do. So I use sentences like that all the time. Email Copy Pro is flooded with this. Okay. Now you might think, well, hold it. You wrote that, and if you or someone you love is suffering from lousy sales. No, I wrote part of it, and the machine wrote the other part. So I didn't have to think about where am I going to put my need persuasion trigger. I'm getting a lot of echo again, by the way. So FYI. Yeah. So let's go on here because I could spend all day on this stuff. This really is fun for me. Okay, fears. Okay, I'm going to get a little dark here. 75% of human motivation is driven by fear. And if you've ever heard me talk before about the fear motivation, you know this is true. You know that I'm not a fan of this. I am not talking about fear mongering. There is a big difference in fear mongering and legitimate fears. Okay, your job as a marketer is to tap into your prospects' legitimate fears, and please underline this if you are so smart and taking notes, and the fears that they haven't fully accepted. Oh, can I ever go down a rabbit hole here? If you've ever read any of my sales pages, you know I can take you down the scariest channel ever on any subject without ever exaggerating and ever lying. So there's nothing duplicitous. There's nothing nefarious here whatsoever. What I am doing is fully acknowledging the fact that you, as a human being, have serious fear issues. Me, everyone, we all do. And that's because of that little part of your brain called the amygdala that's running the show. Okay, it's on some people it runs it more than others. Okay, so when people, like, for example, I'm not going to get into a political conversation, but let's face it, in America, pretty scary climate right now. No matter which side of the political fence you're on, it can be a lot of fear driven, wouldn't you think? You know, on both sides of the fence, there's a whole lot of fear. I'm on one side of the fence, I'm fearing we're going to go into freaking, fascist. On the other side of the fence, I fear that, it's all sorts of fear, right? There's crazy fear. So now one person tapped into that fear a lot better than the other one did. That's the bottom line here, folks. I'm watching Donald Trump. I will say the name. I will speak he who shall not be named. But I will do this and say that, yes, when I'm watching his speeches before he was elected president, I was going, this guy could win. He's actually, I don't know if he has a brilliant speechwriter or if he just naturally speaks at a fourth grade level. But I ran his speeches through a software program that we run our copy through, and it was written at the fourth grade level. And you think that, oh yeah, of course, because he's no. It's hard to do that. It's our goal. My goal as a guy with a master's degree, right? My goal is to try to write at a fourth grade level, and still sound intelligible, right? And still sound like I'm making some sense here. That's hard to do, folks. But guess what? It's a lot of fear. It's a lot of fear. Somebody analyzed how many times there was a fear word. It was an insane amount, right? So unfortunately, 75% of human motivation is driven by fear, and you can tap into it negatively, like fear mongering, which I am not a fan of. So we're clear here, right? Or positively by saying, I understand your fears. I have them myself. I've gotten through this, and I want to help you get through this. So again, most of your decisions are made from the lizard brain. They're just justified by tap your forehead. That's where you justify things. Now, if you were with us with day one, this should sound really familiar because remember, we're talking about that whole emotional inconsistency thing. So you want to have an emotional brand that is positive. Naturally, you don't want to be a scary guy, but you have to understand that is also the decision to buy something has to tap into that same part of the lizard brain that connects to you emotionally from a positive angle. Well, John, he's that really inspiring, bold guy, and he wrote something that scared the crap out of me. It really made me think about my life. Okay, so do you see how this works? It's the same part of the brain. It really is. Okay, it's everything that I just said is justified by that tap your front of your forehead, your prefrontal cortex, the more evolved part of the human brain. So that is just the way that it is. So you have to address the fears your prospect knows about and the underlying fears that they're not aware of or they haven't fully come to terms with. And I'm going to show you how this works in real life, okay? And I'm going to show you this in a couple of different sentences. Notice the wording here. Email marketing the traditional way can be brutal. Now, how many of you are a fan of brutality? I'm not talking about, I'm a martial arts guy. I love MMA. Combat sports is probably the most brutal sport on the planet, or at least one of them. I'm not talking about that kind of brutal. I'm talking about actual brutality. Like, in other words, non-welcomed, aggressive. No, I mean, that's just, if you're anything like me, If you're not a psychopath, then you probably think brutality is really disgusting, unless you're watching a movie and you're watching a movie on purpose because you like to indulge that fear reflex. By the way, you like to watch Game of Thrones or whatever it is. But when you're watching Game of Thrones or whatever it is that's brutal, you watch it and you kind of flinch, right? But when I say email marketing is what can be brutal, that I'm purposely tapping into brutality as one of the deepest human fears. No one wants to be brutalized. No one. That word is underlined on purpose because it's the truth. It's the truth. Now, we use brutal, obviously, euphemistically, which I'm using here. But I'm talking to your subconscious lizard brain. I'm talking to that part of your brain that you're not even aware of, okay? It's under there running the show, and it hears brutal, and like, oh, and you tense up, and you're like, I'm interested, but I don't like that. So there are other, look at all these. This is completely fear-based, but not one thing I said is incorrect. You end up experiencing your subscribers not opening or reading your emails. You can find yourself seeing a drop in email sales. You're suffering from a dead buyer's list. Often you end up worse than where you started. None of that isn't true. So now, if that's all I said, that would be a really bad email. Like, okay, have a nice day, John. Can you imagine that? After all of that, have a nice day, John? What I've just done is I've built up a lot of tension that demands a resolution. And that resolution is coming in the form of the wants and needs, okay? You're gonna have to dive back into that. And our last step, which is the actions. Actions are resolutions. They are resolving the tension that you build through wants, needs, and certainly through fears. Now, every person listening to me right now has had one or more of those feelings. You've experienced subscribers not opening your emails. You see a drop in email sales. You're suffering from a dead buyer. Every one of us have. So I'm not lying and I'm not exaggerating, but I'm making those fears completely known. Now, the one that is not so known is you may end up worse off than where you started. That's a bad fear. No one wants to end up worse off than when they started. Okay, so that is the furthest that I'm going in this particular email. On some of the emails that I've written or some of the sales pages I've written for, say, weight loss, oh my gosh, can you imagine how deep you can go down the fear hole? And I'm not talking about down a some sort of a faux fear, a fear mongering kind of thing. I'm talking about legitimate fears. I hope that you see now the power in this. Okay, you have to speak to the fears, and guess what? All the words that here, like the word, this was all written by the machine. The machine actually coaxed me on how to write this. Pretty cool. Actions. Actions resolve the tension. That is the purpose of actions. And when you see an action, it's going to be, oh, that's easy. Actions are simple. I guarantee you can do it. And no one has to think. Wants, needs, and fears are a little tricky to do them just right. Actions are piece of cake. But marketers that I know that are really good often miss it because they just don't think about it. Because you need to resolve the tension, okay? The call to action in order to resolve tension needs to be very specific. And that is what causes the brain to relax. You want someone in a relaxed state when you're going to buy something, going to a checkout page. You don't want someone full of angst. You don't want someone full of pleasure either. You want them in a relaxed condition, okay? So let me give you an analogy. How many of you have heard that when you're in a car accident and you're relaxed, that you're very rarely injured? You're injured like 8 times less if you're relaxed. If you tense up before something happens, boom, you break a whole bunch of stuff. It's not a good thing. If you're relaxed, why is that the case? Well, that's an analogy, right? You want to be relaxed going into a sales page. You don't want to be full of fear, and you also don't want to be full of hope and pleasure. You want to be in a state where all of that's kind of mixed together, and you're kind of like, okay, there's fear, there's pleasure, there's wants, there's needs. I got it. Okay, I'm kind of in a good neutral state, but they're all really fresh on the mind. They're all right. I'm tapping the forehead again. They're all right at your prefrontal cortex. There's nothing underneath the surface. So to relax you, to put you in a state to where you can make an informed decision, you need an action. And the actions are super simple. They're using NLP commands usually, like go now. Look and click here is one of my favorites because that's a command. I'm literally look and click here. Okay, look is an NLP command. If I'm talking to you and we're in person and I go, and you're like you're kind of glancing, I go, hey, look, you're going to turn around and look at me. Even though you know that when I say, hey, look, I'm talking about like, hey, listen to what I'm about to say, right? But when I say look in copywriting, you actually look at the word look. So that is an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming command. Go now is a command. See more here. See is playing off that look. It's the same exact kind of thing. See more here. So it's a clever way of getting it. Very simple. Anyone can learn this. So I'm just going to give you the quick down and dirty. It's right here. And we'll show you one that's kind of fun. Hop on over and check out what's on this page right now. So hop on over is just a fun way of saying hop on over, you know. So in other words, I'm going to make sure that you're almost in a playful state, almost in a relaxed state, but check out what's on this page right now. And that's it. Now, if I just would have said blah, 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 and then hyperlink something, like let's say I would have had, you know, writing emails. You see the writing emails right in the center of the screen? You see writing emails? I might have that as a blue hyperlink. And let's say that's the only thing I have in the whole email, or maybe I have a couple of other words that are hyperlinked, and I end with talk to you later. I haven't resolved any tension. You have to figure out where to click for me to resolve that tension. There is a tension resolution that goes over when I say hop on over and check this out now. It's like ending, if you're familiar with music, it's like playing a major scale and going up to the da 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 da. Okay, go that seventh right before that eighth note. You want to hear that seventh resolved. If you know anything about music, if you don't, sorry about the analogy, but you're just dying to hear that major scale go da. You know, it's like when you go to church and they play the second to the last chord, you know, on the organ. That second last chord is called a suspension chord. There's suspended for, and you want to hear that resolution really bad. If he ended on that suspended chord, you'd be like ah. And that's what it's like if you don't give your prospect something to resolve to. By saying, hey, I've got an answer, or hey, go check this out right now. Here, read more here. Any of that, it works really great for actions. So those are the 4 states of your customer's buying brain. I hope that was extremely helpful for you guys. We're going to bring you on. We're going to take some questions here, and hope you guys got a lot out of that.
So yes, and I think some of the people are still a little, you know, like me, on the like maybe side. So I'm going to update the page right now, guys, with the link to join us here and get direct answer from John. And remember, anyone who's joining us today can go home with little before scene video. How's that, John?
Yeah, a very cool video that will make you more money if you listen to it and apply it. Yeah.
So to do that, guys, refresh your page, and I'm going to show you just to be on the safe side. So I'm going to share my screen, and here we are, and we got a bunch of comment, people interacting and commenting. So so awesome that you're doing that. Refresh the page, right? It's going to jump back again, and then click on this link. It's going to open up a little video right there. Mute yourself like this, and then click this, and now you can do, okay, get it. Now, if you want to turn your camera off, you can do that as well. Just turn it here, but we'd love to see you. So that's all you need to do in order to join us right here in the Hangout. And as we're doing this, there are very interesting comments that are coming up. So great. First of all, you said you can talk about this all day, and I can't remember. Oh, and Sharon said I could spend all day learning this.
Well, the good thing is you could spend literally years learning what I just covered. So I'm covering it in as fast as I can, as concise as I can. I'm not trying to be overly complex. To cover the psychology of persuasion, I mean, I've studied this since I've been in college. So it's literally years, maybe decades, if you want to look at it from that perspective. But the cool thing is that as you're going to see on Friday, we have a tool that actually does most of the heavy lifting for you, all of the heavy lifting when it comes down to the persuasion triggers.
It's awesome.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm dissecting stuff so that in case for whatever reason you're like, you know, my email marketing isn't worth, you know, the money you're asking, which is ridiculous. But let's say it isn't. Let's say that's okay, or that you can't, or whatever. At least you know that what's underneath the hood. You know how to do it, but you don't know how to do it, maybe, but you know that you need to do it. So at least you now know what to look for. And I guarantee you won't look at an email ever again without seeing, oh my God, that's that fear thing. Oh, that's a want versus a need. That's cool how he did that. You'll start, especially if you listen to this trading more than once. If you go back and listen to it a couple times, yeah, I think you'll start to see it.
So, Headway, she says, cool, I would love to win a copy of JRAM. So it's super easy. Join us in the Hangout and you can win one. Really easy. Click the button, come on in. And Helen is saying, is the idea to include all 4 in one email for all the emails, or does it depend on the type of the email?
Helen, it's a great question. If you're promoting something, you want at least 3 of the 4. Unless it's like a last minute to something, then that's the difference. So if it's hey, you've got another 10 minutes to get then obviously you're not going to have all of them in there. But for a standard promotional email, I make sure that I have all 4, but at least 3 out of the 4. At least 3 out of the 4. So yeah, that is the goal. And I like it 3 out of the 4 in any email. Engagement, inspirational emails, content, yeah, the same thing. Like, in other words, if I send you content, I say, yesterday this guy that I know told me this cool tip, and I think you might want to read it too, and send you to a link. You don't know anything. The only thing that's working on is that you respect me. So I'm working on that. Okay, you want to have some information. You want to you like me. You know what you're saying? But that's all. That's literally 2 things. I've got the want, and then I've got an action. So that's not nearly as effective as if I just said one other thing. I said, after listening to this guy, I think that you're going to find that you'll be able to do blank more effectively, and then I got to add all 4 by saying, I think you'll be so inspired by this that you probably want to share it with someone that you love or your best friend even, or I'm making that up off the top of my head, but you get the idea. So I covered all 4 right there. Now, if I just wrote an email, which I could do, I've done this as a joke when I teach this live, I'll say, here's an email with all 4 persuasion triggers, and it's only 4 persuasion triggers. It's literally like one after the other. I said, how many of you would click on that email? And I wrote it as a joke, literally as a joke to say that, well, no one would, right? And almost everyone raises their hand.
Oh my God.
I'm like, wow, this stuff is really that powerful. Now, it's a terrible email. It's meant as a joke, right? But it's got all 4 of the persuasion triggers in them. That's just completely obvious, right? It's like way obvious. But it's true. People would click on it. Now, granted, they would click on it once. If you sent emails like that every day, you would get so many unsubscribes. But just to test it out, I did send it to my friend, and sure enough, it got great clicks. So I'm like, but now I wouldn't send it again. But it was borderline demented. It was kind of cool. It was like I could actually probably remember it if I tried. It's like I thought I actually had it in these slides, but I don't.
No. So guys, before we jump into the people who are joining us, then let me just show you again where you can find John, because we didn't cover this. So I'm sorry. So I'm going to jump into that second. We did not cover this part. The system.
Yeah. I apologize for that. You're right. We did not cover that. So yeah, you want to put it up on the screen? And now honestly, there's I'm just going to give you the promotional emails that we cover. So if you want to show that again.
Yeah, I am showing.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I was looking for. Okay, can you do it again?
You're not seeing it on my screen?
Yeah, when I start talking, it goes away. So
click on me. Just click on that little thumbnail, and then it's going to stick for you.
Okay, can you guys see that? Okay.
Yeah, just nod. Rick, yeah.
Yeah, just nod.
Well, we have people here in the Hangout, so if you can see it, nod, and then okay, we'll assume yes.
All right, so this is the promote section inside Email Copy Pro, and yeah, this is great if you blow it up. Thanks. Okay, and I'm just giving you you've got promote yourself and promote someone else. So we dive more into promoting yourself than promoting someone else, because most of the time when you promote somebody else, they send you swipe copy. But we have a lot of our Email Copy Pro customers that are like, the swipe copy isn't that good. And so, okay, well, we've got some basic swipe copy for you to do an upsell, a video sales letter, or a webinar, the basic stuff. But if you look at the very top, we want you to have promotion for yourself to other people. So we have an affiliate swipe file category. So these are files that you would want to send out to people to promote your own stuff. So in other words, they're written in, if you will, they're written in first person. So they're written as if you were like kind of a strange person. If you're anything like me, John Benson's really cool. That's why John has this awesome thing called Email Copy Pro. I mean, can you imagine you writing that and sending that out to your own list? You would seem like, well, who's the famous person that keeps referring to himself in the first person? I know Bob Dole back in the 70s did, or the 80s. Bob Dole likes this, but yeah, so that's what it sounds like. But that's what you want to send out to your affiliates. So it pulls in all the persuasion triggers and pulls in your branding, your inbox branding, all ready for your affiliates ready to send out. But the other promotional emails are a discount. In other words, you're gonna give a dollar figure off or percentage off. You could have an event, an online event like we're having right now, Hangout Down, or like a live event. A last chance. Hey, this is your last chance to get something. a product launch, which is Jeff Walker's product launch formula, we have an actual product launch sequence inside Email Copy Pro. So Jeff's product launch formula has made a lot of millionaires. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a section for copywriting. So he's got the formula without the copy. So now we have the copy. Quizzes are really hot right now. Quizzes are all the rage. So we want to have a quiz-based copy that you can send out, and the quiz changes based on the answers. So that's kind of cool. Obviously, sales pages, like, obviously, any written sales page, social media, Facebook, etc., podcast, upsells. In other words, if you have the things that you sell after the fact, we have emails designed to say, hey, you didn't take this upsell, because we want to help you make more money through everything. So if you have like an upsell and someone doesn't take it, you need to send them an email afterwards going, I noticed that you didn't buy this. Let me tell you why you should. So that's an upsell email. VSL, go figure, the guy that invented VSL has a video sales letter emails, and webinars. So those are, the reason why those are separated, sales page, video sales letter, webinars, is because they're slightly different in the way they're worded to get people to go, right? Now, we have emails that work in all three. Like you could literally select, go and watch this webinar now, go and watch this video sales letter now. Well, you would say VSL, but go and watch this video now, go and read this sales page now. So you could use that email for anyone. Then we've got emails that are custom written specifically for webinars, video sales letters, and sales pages. So that is the promotional sequence inside Email Copy Pro. It's not a sequence, it's just the variety of emails that we have that you can choose from to promote just about anything in the world. So there you go.
Awesome sauce. Hold on. There we go. Here I am. Yay. Okay.
Now, Cheryl got kicked off or left the group, but saw Cheryl come in, and then
I did see her come in. And
I don't want to have Cheryl not get her bonus. So Cheryl, I hope you didn't get kicked off. We're gonna wait for you. So okay, guys, we got like, come on, we got lots of people here. Let's get some people on here.
Okay,
you guys want to win this thing?
So hey, Rick,
you
joined us.
Yeah.
So let me unmute you.
I'm sniffling, so come on.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, it's great. One of the things that I find is really great about Email Copy Pro is not only is it going through hearing an echo in there. Do you get that? Anyway, one of the things I find really great is not only does going through Email Copy Pro help you to understand your business better, it helps you to understand the psychology better. And I think even if you're really good with psychology, it helps you to understand how to apply it. And that, to me, is really, really worth it. I mean, even just that alone is worth it. I mean, it's just amazing how it helps to really get specific about that. So I just really appreciate that part of it. So it's great.
It's that thank you. We went way out of our way to make sure that the psychology, obviously we can't produce an email product without the stuff I'm talking about. It's just, and I say unfortunately, because as you know, you probably have there's other stuff out there that people that sell email products that they have like swipe files or like a scripter tool. There's no way that they just don't have all this stuff in there. So I wasn't content with putting something out without it. So yeah, thank you. So you can learn all this stuff. You can watch all my training videos. In other words, you can do it yourself, or you can let the machine do it. I wanted to give you both ways to do it, but thank you for mentioning that. All right. Cool.
And then our next one is Claude. Is that right? Claude? Let me unmute you.
Claude.
Yay.
Hey, Claude.
Hey,
are you with us, Claude?
He is. He unmuted himself. So there you go. You're unmuted. Go for it.
Actually, I don't have any questions at this time, so I was just in listening to John. I've been a fan for a while, so I just thought I'd join it.
Hey man, I wish everyone would do that. It's so funny. I've got the shyest audience. We could have 100 people on here and get 5 people come on. But yeah, thank you, Claude. Appreciate that. And if you think of a question, you can ask at any time. So.
All right, thank you.
All right.
So this is funny because I am muted. Am I muted? No. Okay. So yeah, we're getting so many comments. Like Brad, jump in and ask us live. We're still getting comments, and like Helen in the stuff. You guys can be exactly like Claude was. Turn your camera off. You know, we can just hear you. So hey, Cheryl.
Yeah. Hey, Cheryl.
Oh, I need to Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. How was your day so far?
Awesome. How about yourself?
It was great. So, I just wanted to say that I've enjoyed this. I got a lot out of it. You've got me thinking. The NLP stuff is just gold, the persuasion. At what point within the program do you create the avatars? I mean, do you like the avatar creation? Are you familiar with Sean D'Souza?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so today I'm listening to one of his podcasts, and I was, because of the frame of reference that I'm part of your hang-a-thon for 10 days, so the perspective about his perspective about fake personas, and so like you create these personas based on people that aren't real because you don't have a real conversation with them. So they eat fake food, they eat fake blah blah blah, and you've got so much that is in the program that, like, I was just wondering how the personas were handled. I mean, is that asking the questions to your list? Is that how it's handled?
Yeah. So the way that Email Copy Pro looks at avatars is an avatar is just who you're writing to, right? And so there's the avatar that you're writing to, and then there's then your own personal brand. So we look at if he's referring to fake personas, he might be referring to what we would call just the author. So in other words, who you are, what you stand behind. So I'll address it from both sides. There's the inside the niche creation. The very first part of our niche creation is called the overview. So we help you define your avatar, and we give you dozens of examples of avatars. There's a video training on how to find your avatar, and then we ask you to create more than one. So I write and market to blank is the question that we ask, okay? So I ask you to make a plural and a singular version of it. So in my case, I write and market to marketers, but what are other ways I can say this? And this is where Email Copy Pro is so unique. Is like we're going to ask you, if you want to give us 20 ways of saying the same thing, then we're going to pull it all in at random. So you'll have an email with 3 different ways pulled in number 1, number 7, number 19, and so the email reads like completely dynamic, right? So email marketers, digital marketers, entrepreneurs, all of this is my avatar, right? So my particular avatar is that's how I personally think of it. There's the marketer avatar, which is a little bit different. And that's what I encourage you in some of the training videos to do, is to find out if there's a picture of a human being that you write to have that that's what I call a marketing avatar, to have that on your computer or on your desk. And I've got clients that have literally in a frame, and will come in and go, "Oh, is that your daughter?" No, that's my avatar. Yeah. So that's one way of doing it. So that, in other words, when you're writing an email, normally if you don't use Email Copy Pro, obviously you have to think of this yourself. If you use it, you don't have to think of this at all. But if you're writing an email tonight, let's say that you don't have it.
Okay.
And you're writing you want to write to one person.
Right.
It's the same thing if I'm giving a webinar. It's one of the biggest mistakes people make on a webinar is they're speaking to, hey, there's 90 million people here. You want to speak to one person, right, as much as you can. So that avatar is really more about like discovering. Yeah, that's more about probing your list and saying, we have a cool avatar exercise where we ask like questions like, what's your greatest fear when it comes to blank? What's your biggest concern? What's your biggest goal? Right? And then you can define your avatar. Asking people how old they are and all the obvious avatars. I write between this age and that age, male or female. You have to understand some of the basics there. But then there's the avatar of who you are as the author. So that might have been what this was talking about. I'm not sure, but if that's the case, we walk you through not only, okay, what's your first name and last name, obviously, right? But what are your credentials? What is your backstory? Let's talk about, and there literally is a formula that we have inside Email Copy Pro. It says, okay, write this, then choose one of these transition sentences that encourage you to write the next sentence, then choose another one that encourages you to finish it off. So I'm literally creating a little hero's journey inside this one little section. So we get you to think through it like from the perspective of like, a lot of people just say, hey, I have a PhD in psychology from Cornell University, and they end there. And they're writing about relationships. Well, who cares?
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would care on one level, but if the guy said, "I have a PhD from Cornell University in human dynamics and relationships," but more importantly than that, I've been married 17 years to the love of my life, and my first marriage was an absolute disaster. It was a train wreck, and here I thought I was an expert. I thought I knew everything about marriage, and I got into this marriage, and I was terrible. I was the worst husband ever. What am I doing here? And I'm making up this story up. Of course, none of that applies to me. but if I was in relationship space, most people would be terrified to do that, right? They just want to look good. But if I sent that out to somebody that was struggling in relationships, do you think they would feel a little more rapport with me?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that feel, felt, found kind of a thing.
Right. So there's an adage that says you want to have somebody feel as if they were just barely behind you. The marketers use that like that you're slightly above where they're at, so that you're not like way up here and they're way down here, and you'll never get there, right? That now you can't control what somebody thinks in their mind. They may think that whatever you say or do, but as much as you can in your words, you certainly can control that. You can certainly use the inclusion language that we're talking about tonight. And just, again, walking you through this backstory and then strategically placing that backstory throughout several of the email sequences. So, yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Want to ask me anything?
Pardon me?
So did you want to ask me anything?
Yeah. What's your most pressing concern when it comes down to email marketing? What's the one thing that keeps you up the most at night?
Well, it's the keeping it real, like you've stressed, and I can be pompous. I wrote the book on being a snob, but you know what? I mean, and it's like, and it's also that fear of revealing too much of my own personal self in order to build that rapport. I don't want to come across. I want to be as real as possible, but also. But so that I come across as a real person and not like a highfalutin, arrogant, cheesy snob that, we all can be. Rapport is really important to me. So
huge. And that is a really, really good concern, I got to tell you. So, yeah, I preach rapport. I mean, obviously I've got the whole rapport formula, the whole thing inside Accelerator. It's inside Email Copy Pro. Without rapport, yeah, you can forget. You can make sales, but you can't make an inbox brand. You can't make a lasting impact on somebody. And getting a sale once, or getting a sale 3 times, or getting a customer to be around for years versus a customer to be around for days, that is really where rapport is. And I think rapport is also the most essential tool that you can have to get somebody in that doesn't know you at all. So right. Again, if I'm coming in cold traffic and I like to use the relationship space. Because A, I do write in that space, but B, it's so visceral. Everyone can relate to what I'm saying when it comes to relationships. So if I said, I'm this guy that's been, I'm this relationship expert, and I've been married 87 years, and we've never had a fight. Who would want to listen to this person? I mean, there would be some people that would, right? But most people wouldn't. Most people couldn't relate to that, right? You want to hear the guy that's been like I've been divorced 3 times. It took me 3 times to figure this shit out, right? I mean, it's like I've been through it, man. It's like I tell people, I had to marry crazy, and then I finally married well. So someone might argue with that second statement, but the point is that if I'm writing a book on relationships, I can say that I'm saying that in a humorous way, not literally. Right. But if I write in that relationships and I say, where did that teach me? Where did that took me to the depths of my own despair? It took me to the edges of my own. Of every comfort zone that I've ever thought I had. And if I'm saying I've got a PhD from Cornell, who cares at that point, right? I mean, so I'm literally writing a book on this subject, and I'm saying I don't have a degree in this at all. I don't have any, there's no school. I'm nothing more than a freaking love spy. I call myself a fucking love spy. So I like to spy. I've spied on this for my entire life. I've been around it, and I've written about it for years. I've been in great relate, but I've also just been spying on people, not like literally with, like a telescope or anything, but like spying on relationships that work. And I want to share what I've learned as an undercover spy, that I've learned some really cool stuff. I'm right in the trenches with you, man.
Right.
You know, so that rapport is so essential. And I'm talking about a topic that most people would immediately expect that you have to have a doctorate degree or a, whatever, which is not the case at all. And the same thing, I'll say this, I'll get off the rapport bandwagon here, but I say this inside the 28-day product creation formula that we give away, that I sell as well, but we give it away as a bonus inside Email Copy Pro. That you can be, people don't have to be an expert, they have to be an enthusiast. So when I'm reading someone, I just want to hear that their enthusiasm, they're so enthusiastic about something. Some of the guys I follow on YouTube, for example, that are in the fitness and nutrition space, a guy that I just booked a consult. Now I'm a trained nutritionist. I booked a consultant with this guy who's not even a nutritionist. He has no clinical background at all. I don't care, because his passion, his enthusiasm, his results. He's doing something a very specific way of training that I'm training in. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll book it. And the first thing I'm going to tell him is to bump his hourly rate by 10 times because he's not charging enough. But the point is, I go, dude, Google me, first of all. And second of all, you're not charging enough. So, but yeah, so there's no degree. He doesn't even have it. He's not even I don't care. So my point is that his passion and his results got me as a client. So your passion and results, it will never work unless I watch some videos of him going, man, I did this the other day and it freaking sucked. I can't believe it. I want to hear that. I don't want to see all the, I never feel bad and everything's awesome kind of stuff. So anyway, I hope that this diatribe has inspired you guys to think a little deeper when it comes down to the rapport angle. But thank you so much for sharing, Cheryl. Really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for asking too, Bob.
So
awesome.
We are a little bit off. A little bit. There we go. So we're 5 minutes, 3 minutes past the hour, and we have more questions coming in the stream. But we promise that we're going to answer everyone who comes in online on the Hangout, as well as going to gift you the how to sell anything from Jay Abraham. So guys who joined us today will get that in the email, and maybe if you convince us, maybe we'll do that tomorrow as well. We'll see. And so we have one more person here, Terry. Let me unmute her so we can get to everyone here, and then we will close this off. Hi, Terry.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, good. I don't have my camera hooked up here, and I wasn't planning to do this, but I just really wanted to say that to John, I'm echoing what I heard earlier, because I have never really set up my avatar. I have people that come to me through groups for coaching, and I do webinars. I just do things, and I've never really organized it and figured out my avatar and set up a funnel or done any of those things. And I was a little overwhelmed. I got Email Copy Pro. I was a little overwhelmed by it at first, but I started going in and just looking at the drop downs, and I have defined so much about my message and just everything. I can't even tell you. It's just amazing what that will do. The clarity, I haven't gone through it every step, but just to be able to go in and start clicking on things, the language, everything, it's just so excellent. So I can't wait till I can start using it properly. And, when 2.0 or whatever you're calling it comes out too, I think that'll be really helpful. But it is just phenomenal. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. That means a lot. I really love to hear your feedback, and we have a lot of people sending those exact messages, and a lot of people saying the same essential thing. That wow, it took me a long time. It took me a couple of days or a couple of weeks to get it in there, but once I did, I opened up my eyes to what my business is capable of, and that's what we wanted to produce. We wanted to produce something that wasn't just a blah blah ginger template, as I echo back to the far side here. But yeah, we wanted something that had a lot of power and bite to it, and to have that, it requires a little bit more effort. But 2.0 is coming out. Our release date is scheduled for Friday. It may go to Monday because I'm picky. I got with my team today. I'm going, I want this to look a little different. Yeah, so I'm being picky. I am, but it's coming out this week for sure, or in the next week. And when that comes out, it's going to actually have all the power that we have with an incredible amount of ease. So you can get in and you can literally create sequences as you go and only fill in the niche fields that you have to fill in. It literally prompts you through it. It's really cool. So Terry, I think you're going to get a lot out of that. And thank you again for coming on, and appreciate you coming on. without the camera, but no, great voice.
Thanks.
Great voice. I hope you do. I'm sure you do really good webinars. So
thanks.
Yeah, you got it.
And we have to remind everybody, this is not like we're not paying these people to come in. So just so you know,
No.
this is all spontaneous. We're actually not plan on any of it, right?
Technically, they paid me, but yeah. I hope that I'm actually paying them. So my goal for every customer is that I end up paying you. So if you buy something from me, I hope that I make you, that times 1,000. So.
Okay. So tomorrow we are going to talk about inspiring action, and we should probably talk about like what's going to happen in the next few days, because you guys can win something super awesome. As we demo CopyPro and the new version, John is actually going to write emails with you, and we were kind of like going back and forth of how we should write those emails, and we decided, why don't we write them for you? So if you're joining us, we're going to have a little challenge during those days, and you can win an email written by John live for you. And every day, right, we're going to have engagement,
promotion, inspiration, and consumption. Yeah, we're going to have all 4 of the Epic system, and we're going to write one every day. So you're going to see how the machine works, but also I'm going to do this for one person. And here's how you win. You become that one person by telling me why you think that you would be an awesome Email CopyPro customer. I want to know why you believe that, and what, or if you are a customer right now, because I take care of my customers, why you think Email CopyPro is awesome. Exactly what Cheryl and Rick and Terry, or Terry rather, and Rick have said. Put that into the chat, put that into where the world can see it, and we're going to go through and select. And what I may do is I may select one that a person that is not a customer and a person that is a customer, and then we're going to make sure that everybody's taken care of. But we're going to give away 4 different days of this. So on it's not tomorrow, not the next day, but the day after that, we're doing the first one, which is the engagement series. Then we'll do a promotion series. Then we'll do a inspiration series, which is content. So you're thinking, how can you do content? I'm going to show you. It's really, really cool. And of course, the final one is consumption, getting your customers to actually take action. So that is what we got planned for you guys. I really want to say thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Yafat, for going over it again. Really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching on Facebook. I know we've got a lot of people doing that. And thank you for coming here specifically. So we appreciate that too.
So that's it. So guys, next to the video, you can add it to your calendar. So you don't even need us to remind you. We'll remind you, but you can add it to your calendar. It'll be an appointment, and we'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time, to talk about inspiring your audience. So until then.
Awesome. Good night.